the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, but today, I'm your host. Woo! Jey Uso has done the unthinkable. He's won the 2025 Royal Rumble, but here's the thing. Winning the Rumble is one thing, but then he has to do WrestleMania 41. Does Jey Uso have what it takes to step out of the shadow of the bloodline of his brother? Is he ready to face a dominant force like Gunther, or will he take the easy road like Cody Rhodes? And let's not forget about his old cousin Roman Reigns lurking in the background like a ghost that Jey can't shake. Today, we're breaking down the mind games, the history, and the truth behind Jey Uso's biggest decision yet. Now that we've set the stage when it comes to WrestleMania, it's not just about who you face. It's about what that choice says about you. Jey Uso has a really big decision. He has some really big things that he has to figure out just in time for WrestleMania. So let's talk about the most dominant force in the WWE right now. Gunther, World Heavyweight Champion, was the longest Intercontinental Champion in modern history. This general good old bad man, right? It's a guy that you want on your side. But then, is Jey Uso ready to step into the ring with a man who's not just a champion, but a master of brutality? Oh, let's take a look at that. So, Jey Uso's got a history with Gunther. And it's a very brief history as well, too. He had the opportunity where he had to challenge Gunther for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, and coincidentally, that happened about a year ago. That happened in last February, and Gunther was running around dominating the WWE as the IC champion. And when Jey Uso was about to win that match on Raw, guess what happened? His brother Big Jim came in and interfered and cost his brother the opportunity. But you know what, though? I think if that match had kept going without the interference from Jimmy Uso, that Jey Uso would have won. But that was old bloodline stuff. We're not talking about old bloodline stuff right now. We're talking about new bloodline stuff. Because right now they're cool. They're brothers again. They looked out for each other. They hugged. We all cried. And we laughed. And then we cried some more. But look, Jey Uso just had another opportunity against Gunther at Saturday night's main event back in January. And Gunther has been playing this mental warfare with Jey Uso so long because he feels like Jey Uso doesn't belong. He belittles Jey Uso, call him the tag team guy, because he doesn't see Jey Uso as a threat. I don't believe that. Right? I think that deep down inside, Gunther knows that Jey Uso has his card. Jey Uso comes from a very historic lineage family, AKA the bloodline. You've seen people like The Rock, Yokozuna, Roman Reigns. We can even put Jey Uso up in there. We have Umaga. There's so much lineage behind Jey Uso and his whole entire family. So, it's not Jey Uso's first time around the wrestling ring. He's not a first-generation wrestler. He's not a second either. If I'm not mistaken, doing the math right, he's a second, might be a third, but his whole entire family, that's what they do, is they wrestle. Gunther is the only wrestler that we know of in his family. So now, Gunther understands what he's in the ring with. All you have to keep doing is just keep belittling Jey Uso and make him doubt himself. And the core question I'm asking everybody right now, whether you're watching this live or on demand, my podcast is fully interactive. If you're watching here on YouTube, just go ahead and leave a message. Do you believe? Does Jey Uso believe that he's a contender? Or is Gunther still living rent-free in his head? Let me tell you, with the price of eggs right now in America, you can't afford to have anybody living for free anywhere in your head, okay? So, if you ask me, I honestly think, like I said before, Gunther knows that Jey Uso has his card. But is that who he should pick? Look, if you like what I'm talking right now, go ahead and mash that subscribe button. Mash that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well, too. Because if you hit the like button, that means you like me. We got so much we're going to go into, because by the end of the episode, we're going to figure out exactly who Jey Uso should pick. There's also his best friend, his pal, the person that helped him create the Eat. It was Cody Rhodes, the undisputed heavyweight champion in the WWE. Let's look at their friendship right now. The birth of Yeet is only because of Cody Rhodes. If it wasn't for Cody Rhodes, there'd be no people doing this in the arena. When you ask me, I get goosebumps thinking about it all the time. That Jey Uso just doing the Yeet, and every single person in attendance doing the Yeet hand thing it's a sight. It's a spectacle. It's something to be seen, because it's like, okay, if you've never been to a sporting event, right? Sometimes you do the wave where everybody stands up and do the wave, right? But the wave is whack, right? Because you sit here, you do it, and you watch it go around the stadium and comes back around to you. Next time you go, yeah, okay. And the third time to come around to you, like, I ain't really too interested in this, right? It's because people are bored at the game and they're trying to find something else to do in between the lulls, right? But when you go to a wrestling event, there's nobody bored when Jey Uso's coming out. Everybody's throwing up their hands, doing a little Yeet thing at one time, and I think that's a sight to be seen at WrestleMania when Jey Uso wins. Oh, did I spill the beans? Oh, yeah. I think I did spill the beans. But Yeet became a thing in the WWE, and it's like a Gen Z term that they use for like throwing something. Oh, let me yeet this over there. Let me yeet that over there. That's where Yeet came from. But now Yeet, to us, you know, Gen Xers who have no clue what it is because we're not in that lane, we just think it's a wrestling thing. And that came to be a thing at the Fastlane press conference back in 2023 when Jey and Cody won the tag team championships. And, you know, I think they were a little bit drunk, one more than the other, but they were just having a great time. You know, Jey Uso's son is a Gen Zer, you know, so he would definitely be a person that's into the whole Yeet thing, you know, and whatnot. But why would Cody Rhodes be somebody that Jey Uso would pick? You know, like, Cody Rhodes used Jey Uso, keyword there's used. He used Jey Uso to help him finish the story against his family. Jey Uso fought against his family with somebody that wasn't even blood, that being Cody Rhodes, to help Cody Rhodes take the belt away from from Jey's family so that Cody could bring it to his family. He used him. He needed him. There's nobody else behind Cody's back that could help him. So why would Jey Uso choose him? I'll tell you why. And I've said it one time, and I've said it many times. I'm going to say it again. It's because Cody Rhodes is soft. Oh, yeah. Cody Rhodes is softer than baby poop. If you don't understand what I'm saying, go have a kid. Don't have a kid. Don't have a kid. Don't have sex kids. Cody is soft, in my opinion, and I think he's a babyface pretending to be the people's champ. Especially after seeing that match that he had with Kevin Owens last week at the Royal Rumble, it makes me go, okay, so Kevin Owens is bringing Cody Rhodes out of his shell. But if that's the person that Jey Uso is going to choose because he thinks that he's soft, Jey Uso needs to hurry up and make that cash in right away. One of the things that Cody Rhodes said on Raw was like, hey, or was it SmackDown? Hey, if you pick me, talking to Jey, if you pick me, it's going to be the last thing you ever do. He's trying to like get himself out of the trouble. Instead of just saying, you know what? Maybe I should just like try to stay out of the limelight, just be this guy's friend. You let this guy know, you know what, if you come for me, you're going to have a big problem. Nah, I think that Cody Rhodes is not even really that much of a gangster. He's not. He's running around doing the things where he's holding everybody and he's giving away the belt. Like if you ask me, right, Cody Rhodes could be running around trying to be president of the United States, right? And I think the bar for that is real low, but that's not what we're talking about today. Ooh, this is not a political podcast. That's not what we do here. But Cody Rhodes is soft. Cody Rhodes is the perfect victim if you're looking for somebody right now to go cash in, right? Kevin Owens and Randy Orton targeting Cody, they see through the act. They see that Cody Rhodes is soft, that he's a punk, that he's a Vic. Does Jey see it too? Could Jey expose Cody Rhodes? What if, listen to this, listen to what I'm about to say right now. What if Jey Uso has been riding with Cody Rhodes just to eventually get past him? You know, like, look, think about it like this, right? They were riding in two separate cars. Okay, Cody Rhodes got a bus, right? Jay was riding in his car and Cody was riding in his bus. They both get there 2 separate times. They can't get to the same place at the same exact time. So what happens now is Jay is riding in the same exact bus as Cody, and now they're riding together. Eventually, Jay is going to jump off the bus because he's a little bit ahead and surpass Cody Rhodes. Maybe he was just waiting for his turn to bring the belt back to the bloodline. Look, if you ask me, if my name is Jey Uso, here is what I'm telling you right now about Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is comfort. But Gunther, he represents the challenge. Which does Jay really want? Look, I want to hear from you, whether you're watching this live or on demand. Tell me in the chat, who should Jay choose for WrestleMania? Is it Cody Rhodes or is it Gunther? But this Friday, what we're talking about live on the Tristan Law Show here on YouTube at noon is at the WWE Hall of Fame. That's where legends live forever. But some names are missing. With Triple H already locked in for 2025, the question is, who's next? Make sure that you subscribe and you come back Friday live at noon here on YouTube Eastern to discuss who else should be inducted this year. So let's say Jey Uso wins at WrestleMania, right? There's a huge problem. Huge problem for Jey Uso. And if you don't know what that huge problem is, that huge problem comes in the form of the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, the OTC, the big dog, the OG, the person that's putting the food on the table for everybody in the WWE right now, or at one time, the champion that was the champion for 4 or 5 years straight in the WWE. Look, I don't care what anybody tells me, especially after watching the Survivor Series of this past year, when there was the OG bloodline versus the new bloodline. Jey Uso was the last one out on the OG bloodline. In the cage was CM Punk. You had Sami Zayn in there. You had Roman Reigns in there. You know, you got all of them in there, right? You got Jimmy Uso. But the problem is that when Jey Uso came out, Randy Orton had a look in his face. You want to see the look in his face? Let me go ahead and show that to you right now. That's right there, the screenshot from the Survivor Series War Games, where we are looking at Roman Reigns looking out into the audience when Jey Uso's music hits. You know what's in Roman Reigns' face? I'm going to let you look before I answer. You take a look, and you tell me, what's going on in Roman Reigns' face? Roman Reigns, that was the first time that he came back to the WWE after a while, and the thing that was in his mind was hate. I think it was a little bit of jealousy. He's looking around going, wow, this is really how they cheer him over here? Jey Uso is only as big as who he is right now in the WWE is because of Roman Reigns. I don't care what anybody says right now. The only reason that Jey Uso is somebody, the only reason that Jimmy Uso is becoming somebody, the only reason that anybody still cares about Sami Zayn today is because of Roman Reigns. Tell me that I'm lying right now in the chat. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me that I'm lying. Okay? The issue, though, is that I feel that Roman Reigns looks at somebody like Jey Uso and says, you know, maybe Jay's getting a little bit too big for his britches, right? One of the things that about the WWE in the past is that the people will come in, let's say Hulk Hogan or The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they've come in to become wrestlers and they've transcended pro wrestling. They're bigger than pro wrestling. But right now in this day and age, there's nobody that is bigger than the business. There is nobody that John Cena is probably the last person, if you ask me, who's bigger than the pro wrestling business the way they came in and were able to transcend and go someplace else. Right now, Jey Uso is bigger than the bloodline. Let's take a look at the chat right quick. Eddie001 checks in. Thank you so much for your comment. He says he should choose Gunther. I don't want to see a babyface versus a babyface match at Mania. Cena needs to win an Elimination Chamber and wrestle Cody at Mania. You know what? I'm going to give you a heart for that. Thank you so much. But look, even though if Cody wins, this is a whole nother episode, and I'm just going to touch it and we're going to move on. You don't want babyface versus babyface, Eddie 001. But what about Cody Rhodes right now? Cody Rhodes is a babyface. At least he thinks he is. John Cena's a babyface. At least we think he is. What if John Cena does not win an elimination chamber and he becomes desperate? And because he's desperate, he now steps over into the dark side. Oh man, something to think of, right? But we don't want to see a babyface versus a babyface match. I agree. Who says that Cody Rhodes is really a heel? Oh, Cody Rhodes is telling us that he's a heel. Maybe that's not what he really identifies as. He really identifies as a babyface. Thank you for your comment. Thank you very much for your comment. Appreciate you. It's so hot right now because it's WrestleMania season and there's so much to talk about in pro wrestling right now. It's just like, oh my God, just the options of everything that could go down. It's just like we're standing at a fork in the road and we can go anywhere. And that's why I love pro wrestling and that's why I love this time of year. But let me tell you though, Roman, I don't think Roman is mad too much though at Jay's success. I like I said before, Jey Uso doesn't need Roman Reigns anymore. He doesn't. What does he need Roman Reigns for? When Roman Reigns needed help, who did he call? He called Big Jey Uso, Main Event Jey Uso, right? They used to call him Main Event Jey Uso because it was just a name. Right? Is this a name they plucked out of the air? You know what? The great one, Jey Uso. Somebody's using that already. The Viper, Jey Uso. Somebody's using that one already as well, too. The Animal, Jey Uso. That sounds good as well, too. But Main Event Jey Uso, well, we don't got nothing else. Let's just call him Main Event Jey Uso. But right now, he is Main Event Jey Uso, right? Roman Reigns is not in the main event. When's the last time we seen Roman Reigns? We seen Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble. He got thrown out. How did that work out for him? Let's see. We got another comment from Maria Gracelia Sayas. Sorry if I ruined your name. Sorry. Checks in and says, Jay is just a word. He should not be in this position. You know what? Thank you so much for your comment. When I did my episode talking about who could win the Royal Rumble, Jey Uso is one of the people that I thought about, that I talked about. And one of the things that I said is that any given Sunday, the worst team in the NFL could beat the best team in the NFL. Does Jey Uso belong there? You know what? I don't know, right? Because he's got big shoes to fill right now. Yeah, you won the Royal Rumble, right? It's like this, right? You wanted to become a millionaire. You became a millionaire, you hit the lottery, and they gave you the $1 million. Now what? Now you got millionaire problems, right? So right now, Jey Uso wants to be main event really so bad that he put main event in front of his name, right? They say dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. He wanted to be a main eventer, so he called himself Jey Uso. So now, Jey Uso, you're a main eventer. Now what? Now you got to go to WrestleMania. Gunther might try to hand your ass to you again, because Gunther knows exactly who you are. You've been in the ring with Gunther more times than Jesus got disciples. And Gunther is not going to let you beat him at WrestleMania. I think that Jey Uso is going to have to pull a miracle out of the sky in order to beat Gunther. Yeah, don't get it wrong. Gunther has almost been checkmated by Jey Uso many times before. But I think at WrestleMania, this time is different. We've got another message from Maria. Maria says, do you see comparisons with Jay's rise with the rise? Do you see comparisons with Jay's rise with the rise of Jeff Hardy from back in the day? Thank you so much for your comment. Yes and no. Let me tell you why yes and no. I feel that when the Hardy Boys split and Jeff Hardy went on to do his thing, Jeff Hardy was the bigger star at the time, but Jeff Hardy, for the lack of a better term, always had that Hardy Boy stink on him. No matter what, you'd always go, yeah, that's one of the guys from the Hardy Boys. That's one of the brothers. Even when Matt Hardy tried doing it as well too, he was always one half of the Hardys, even though that one was on Raw, one was on SmackDown, one was on SmackDown, one was someplace else in the world. I think that with the way that they did Jey Uso after the breaking up of the Bloodline, and they moved him away from the Bloodline, they allowed him to walk on his own, I feel that this one is a little different. Because when you see Jey Uso, him and his brother, they don't even wear the same matching clothes anymore, even if they're in the ring together. They don't. Why? Because they're two separate people now. They've learned to walk on their own, right, as two separate people, and when need be, they come back together and be one. So I do see that as being just a little bit different and not, just like Jeff Hardy, or it's almost like I see Jey Uso's rise almost like Shawn Michaels. And golly, God forgive me and do not strike me for even putting Jey Uso at that stage to Shawn Michaels at that stage. But just walk with me for a little bit. Listen, when Shawn Michaels separated from Marty Jannetty just went away. He just did his own separate thing and you didn't really hear from him. But Shawn Michaels was able to transcend and rise up and become the Intercontinental Champion and become the WWE Champion. And that kind of looks like everything that Jey Uso is on now. He split himself from his brother. He split himself from his family. He made new friends, right? He went on and made a name for himself. He became the Intercontinental Champion. And now he's going for the big belt. That's something for us to take a look of. But here's the thing, though. There's a toxic legacy in the Bloodline. And I think that toxic legacy is all brought forth by, there's only one person. If you don't know who it is, I'm going to tell you right now. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman running behind him. Look, let me tell you. Roman Reigns is still a heel. I don't care what nobody tells me. The only reason Roman Reigns is a good guy, is a babyface right now, is because he's standing against a team of other guys that are that are bad, if not worse. But you're just sprinkling a couple good guys with him, and you know what? Everything is all good in the world. Not true. I don't believe that one for a second. You can't bamboozle me because I see this one coming. Roman Reigns is toxic. He is bad for the Bloodline. He is only waiting his turn because when Jey Uso wins at WrestleMania against Gunther, oops, I did it again. Damn it, I gotta stop saying that. But if Jey Uso wins at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is going to be the first challenger. Look, Roman Reigns has Jey Uso's card. Roman Reigns beat Jey Uso. So why can't he do it again? Look, there's so many different ways and feuds this could go in the future, but no matter who Jey faces at WrestleMania, the story with Roman Reigns is not over. And speaking about things not being over, if you don't want to see my ugly, mugly face 6 days after every live episode, you can go ahead and listen to my voice only, and sorry, you can listen to my voice, wherever you find a podcast, including here on YouTube. Something for you to take a look at 6 days after. Let's see what else we got in the chat. We got my man Eddie001 checking in, says that Jey is the proof that you don't need to do. Ooh, I like that. You don't need to do 100 flips in the ring or even have the imaginary 5-star matches in order to be over with the audience. It's all about popularity and connecting with the crowd. Yes, Eddie. I got a story I want to tell you. I don't think I've seen you here before. My apologies if you've been here before. But I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, but today I'm your host of the Tristan Law Show. And I left wrestling, maybe going on 3 years now because, just life gets busy, independent wrestling all throughout the Northeast and stuff like that. That's not what we're talking about. But before that, I had another hiatus, right? My second time coming back into wrestling. Wrestling changed. The thing about wrestling is that everybody was doing all the flips and all the stuff like that and jumping off the top rope. I thought, Eddie, that I had to take my big ass and throw my big ass over the top rope and flip as well too in the ring. It was something I was not comfortable with. But I went back to my favorite wrestlers of all time. And my favorite wrestlers of all time, because of when I grew up, is Triple H Edge and Randy Orton. Those are my 3 favorite wrestlers. I can sit here, I can watch their matches all the time. And I ain't talking about no Adam Copeland, and I ain't talking about no Cope either. I'm talking about Edge. That's what I'm talking about. My 3 favorite wrestlers of all time: Triple H, Edge, and Randy Orton. Those who I modeled myself after in the ring. And I was able to look at matches with Triple H, and I'm like, you wrestled with the guys that did all the flipping, and you didn't have to flip. All you had to do is tell the story. And Jey Uso, he does exactly that. He connects with the crowd because, let me tell you this, when I'm training somebody to be a wrestler or when I'm helping them in the ring, one of the things that I tell them is that I can teach anybody to do moves. Eddie, I don't know if you're a wrestler, but I can teach you how to be a wrestler. Maria, I don't know if you're a wrestler, but I can teach you how to be a wrestler. I can teach anybody how to do moves, right? I can teach anybody to sit in front of a microphone and talk. But it's what it takes is for you to get the audience, to get you to emotionally invest into what's happening on the other side of the screen or the camera or in the ring in order for somebody to give a damn, right? Because when you think about your favorite movie, or you know what, let's keep it to wrestling. And we're going to also put movies as well too. Think about your favorite movie right now. Go ahead, think about your favorite movie. And now I want you to also think about your favorite pro wrestling match of all time. My favorite pro wrestling match is 3 Stages of Hell, No Way Out, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H. Favorite match. They just put it on WWE Vault on YouTube, and I'm probably going to go watch that when I'm done with you guys today. Tell me can you tell me line for line from the beginning to the end your favorite movie? Maybe you can, but not many people can. What they could do, though, is that they can tell you moments. And it's the same exact thing with that 3 Stages of Hell with me. I can't tell you the match move for move, but what I can tell you is that there's different moments that I remember in the match that stand out to me that got me emotionally invested to make me say, you know what? I like this match. And that's what I think that Jey Uso does that is different. He allows people to become emotionally invested with him because you see his rise. If you're anywhere from the ages of, let's say, 25 to about 45, you saw Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso's first day on the job in the WWE. You did. You remembered when Jey and Jimmy Uso came out. If you look at Jimmy and Jey from back in the day, you can't tell who is who. I know I can't. I don't know who is who. But throughout the thing, you've seen them come in. They used to do the entrance. We used to come out and they used to, do this little tribal dance that they had in Samoa. And then it's like, oh, cool, that's nice. But they were still finding themselves. And when they eventually found themselves, now they were the Usos, one of the best. I dare somebody tell me that they're not. The Usos are one of the best tag teams in the history of the WWE right now. And it's like, how can you argue with me with that? But somebody's probably going to argue because people like to argue. But then you see them go their separate ways to where one is Big Jim, right? Big Jim Uso, and one is main event Jey Uso. They're both 2 separate people. We've seen them on the first day on the job. And in a couple of years, they might be getting ready to retire. Now, another 10, 15 years, you don't know. So that's what I think that makes Jey Uso so special, is because we've seen his rise. We've seen his fall as well, too, and we've definitely seen his rise. I think that one of the coolest things that anybody can do in the arena is do the yeet at the same time. And it's just a thing. It's like when I went to WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, and Bray Wyatt was, I think he was wrestling The Undertaker or somebody. I can't remember who it was. Somebody tell me who it was. And I stopped for a moment, and I looked at everybody with their phone cameras out. I always thought that the only entrance I ever needed to see in pro wrestling was The Undertaker. But not only did I get The Undertaker that night, I got Bray Wyatt. And everybody out there with their phones out, just shining. And I'm just like, wow, what a experience. And I took a picture of that. And if you follow me on Instagram at The Real Big Trips, I might post that picture later on. But back to who Jey Uso's going to face at WrestleMania. No matter who Jey Uso faces at WrestleMania, the story with Roman isn't over. I think that Roman is the end game. Looking at Jay's options, he got 2 big options right now. He's got Gunther and he's got his best friend Cody. Gunther, he has to worry because the fear of facing head on. You can't lose to Gunther again. If he goes in there, he loses to Gunther again. Main event, Jey Uso better call himself back in the line, Jey Uso, because he's not going to be worth anything. He's wasting his time. But if he goes for the softer target of Cody Rhodes confronting a friend who may not be so genuine in his own actions, that's an opportunity as well too. But I think that Cody Rhodes, his true self is coming out. The violence, the animal, everything inside of Cody Rhodes is coming out. The true heel is coming out. So I don't think that Cody Rhodes is the best option. The best option for Jey Uso into WrestleMania 41, where he is going to win, is Gunther. But he needs to understand that when he's done with Gunther, that Roman Reigns, the inevitable, he's waiting for him in the shadows. Here's my personal take. Jey should face Gunther. Not because it's the smart choice, but because it's the hard one. We're talking about watching Jey Uso the first day on the job and rising up and everything else like that. It's going to add a battle scar to him. One that we're going to be able to say, you know what? I saw you in your first day, bruh, and I like who you become. And you fought for this one real hard, and because you fought for it, you got it. But it's about proving to himself and to the world that main event Jey Uso is not just a name. It's who he really is. Here's what I want you to do. Whether you're watching this live or on demand, I want you to tell me right now who Jey Uso should wrestle at WrestleMania because he won the Royal Rumble. Is it Gunther or is it Cody Rhodes? Do you think that Randy Orton is waiting in the background for Randy Orton? God, I keep mentioning Randy Orton. Do you think that Roman Reigns is waiting in the background for Jey Uso? So much for us to talk about. And don't forget, if you like what I did today, to like, share, and subscribe to the Tristan Law Show. It's the best compliment that you can give me. Come back this Friday at noon live for 4 WWE Hall of Famers that need to be inducted in 2025. I'm Tristan Law. This is the Tristan Law Show. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.